and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know.
Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey, do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, it's my favorite show. Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. Hey, do it for Deuce and Mo. When it comes to the Kings, big hopes and dreams as we cover our kings. Never cover the kingdom, but we loving our kings. And we covered your prayers as we doing our thing. Big Deuce with the par, Lil Mo on the screen. Solo or together, still do it for team. Never switch up for $1 or revenue stream. So we always got each other, balance out the beam. Deuce and Mo, and that's the end of the theme song. Do it for Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo.
We are live.
Nothing will break us. Nothing, I tell ya.
Yeah! 15 straight losses, a franchise record. Welcome back to Kings basketball.
What up, Deuce?
Hey.
Hey, Morgan.
Hey.
I'm rooting for you. Let's go, Kane.
What is up to the basketball sickos? Your team is 14 and 45 now?
14? They haven't won 14 games.
Yeah,
who the
you're
hell?
right. They're
You
12 and
wish.
45. Why did I say 14 and 45?
Maybe because you were thinking of 14
I don't know.
losses in a row and then it went to 15.
Probably. The losing streak is now 15 consecutive games. That is a franchise record. No, not a Sacramento record going back to 1985. We're talking about Rochester, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Omaha, all of those teams, plus this stretch of Sacramento Kings basketball since 85 that hasn't really been any good. This is the franchise record. 15 consecutive losses. And my goodness, the last three have just been brutal to Utah. You go to New Orleans. And then tonight, I think it's 94 points, 93 points, 94 points. Welcome back. Hey, everybody.
Give me a hell yeah.
I said nothing can break us.
We're broken. It's been broken. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. How are we doing? If you haven't hit the thumbs up yet, please do so. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe. All it does is help our channel grow. Yeah. 15, huh? You know, it's funny today.
What's so funny?
The beam behind us that we haven't used in a long time, it hasn't been working, right?
Yeah.
So today I set it up today. I fixed it and I was testing. I'm like, oh, it's okay. It still works. Still works. I'm like, oh, maybe we'll use it tonight. Maybe that's like me foreshadowing a little bit. I fixed it and then I can use it tonight. No, not the case at all. My goodness. Brutal.
Ouch.
Shout out to everyone watching us live. Let's give some love. Morgan, Jesse, James, relax into the black. Say hi to Duke.
Hi, Duke.
Banta. What is up, August? Bad news, sour grapes. What the sus? What is up, Daniel? Sean, appreciate you guys. Gregory, too. All right, yeah, let's talk about this game. We're going to talk about, obviously, a little bit about the game, big picture stuff. We got to sprinkle in some Darryn Peterson as well, maybe some NBA, because there's like new tanking topics to discuss as well.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, whatever it means. You ready?
I'm always ready.
Deuce and Mo, come down. 3, 2, 1. Hit my music.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what they know. Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. The podcast that you know.
Oh, boy. You know, had some time away from Kings basketball. I felt so rejuvenated.
Refreshed.
Refreshed.
Yeah.
Rested.
Oh, mentally healthy. Stable.
Oh, my goodness. Even with some poor weather in Sacramento, it was like, life is good.
Rain can't get me down.
No. And then today, sunny in Sacramento.
Okay, today's going to be a good day.
Kings basketball is back.
Ooh, ooh.
Keegan Murray returns.
Ooh, ooh.
Oh, but remember, this team had lost 14 straight before the break.
Okay, but time to win, right?
Domas Sabonis, Levine out.
That's
for
okay.
the season.
More opportunities for the young guys, right?
Dylan Cardwell out.
Oh, shit. Okay. Well,
DeAndre Hunter still out.
the sun's still up, right?
The sun is still up.
Okay.
Kings were back at home taking on the Orlando Magic. And my goodness, Orlando, after a slow start, believe it or not, Sacramento did lead after one in this game, 28-18. Orlando couldn't make anything. Shooting something like 20% in the quarter, 1 of 7 in the paint. And then after that, 3 after 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. Orlando hit a franchise record 27 threes tonight. They actually beat their old franchise record of 25 made threes that they set against the Sacramento Kings in 2024. Ouch. Orlando wins by 37 tonight, 131-94. The Kings have now lost 15 straight games, a franchise record. A franchise record. They already had the Sacramento record going back to 1985, but we're going way back. Rochester, Cincinnati, Kansas City, Omaha, all of those teams had never had a 15-game losing streak. Think about all the bad basketball you've watched as a Kings fan.
Pretty bad.
In Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
This team is the first team to do it. 15 consecutive losses. The last 3 putrid at New Orleans, at Utah, and then home against Orlando. 94 points, 93 points, 94 points, no defense. My goodness. This is as low as it gets. And this podcast presented by our friends over at Sentivo Vineyards and Winery. I'm Juice Mason. That's Morgan Reagan. Hi, Mo.
Drink up. Thank you for Sentivo. My God. Wow. Every time that I feel like, it's rock bottom, and we're like, okay, we've already experienced rock bottom, but it's wild what your emotions actually get to choose what rock bottom is for you. Your mental state gets to choose. Like a moment doesn't get to choose what rock bottom is. It's where your emotions go. And with this game, seeing the 15, I was already thinking like, 15 straight losses, that will be the rockiest of bottoms, right? But I didn't get there mentally. I was just like, that would suck if they really don't end it tonight. And now I'm here, and it's something I said on the postgame show. I said, there's going to be kids looking back at this team on Wikipedia, Basketball Reference, whatever, and going, wait. That team lost 15 straight? Let me see who was on that roster. They're going to look at that roster, going to Hall of Famer, Russell Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan. They're going to look at some of those names and go, how? Sure, they'll look up the amount of games played for some of these players. They'll be like, sure, it was injuries and all the different things. But that's just one layer of it. And I think that's what hurts me the most is that, it shouldn't be that bad. And I think tonight really exposed why it was that bad, in my opinion. And it really started with the Kings offense and the lack thereof. And when I say lack thereof, literally no offense. Their inability to play any type of offense in the NBA is beyond me. And I feel like they're being told to play freely when really this team needs so much structure and needs to be told what to do. I just went there.
Yeah, there's a lot to tackle there. The 15 straight thing, you're right. At some point, I think 99% of Kings fans out there have just accepted the fact this is just a bad team. God, is the season almost over? I'm ready for the draft lottery. Let's see if you can get a good pick in the top 3 and make the right pick. That's kind of where you're at.
Sure.
But it just doesn't, for me, it just... Seeing where they're at now is just a constant reminder of
oh no,
what transpired the last few years, how it went bad so fast. I know this is stuff that we just talked about so many times. So it's just, you go, man, 15, and I've seen a lot of bad Kings teams and teams that I did not like at all that felt so much worse than this. And you're like, wait, this is the team that did it.
Yeah.
15 straight losses, a franchise record, and you play the Spurs coming up on Saturday. It's just, now you're at the point where it's where do you see the the losing streak coming to an end. That's what's so tough about it. And the way that they're playing, going back to your last point, it's tough to see because it's just gross. That's the best way to put it. It's gross.
Yeah.
And you started with the offense, and I'm with you. The offense, it's hey, let's get DeMar going, ISO. Like, if our first actions aren't there, if everything is taken away, we know our safety valve is DeMar. He can try to create something. Maybe he scores, goes to the free throw line, or he gets a double and we kick out and swing, and maybe that's how we score the basketball, or we get a second chance opportunity. There's no identity. And I think that's what's most frustrating about this season. It's not that I'm like, oh my God, they lost again, I'm so mad. Dude, just win the games, win out. It's like, no, I know where they're at, and I understand why the big picture of a draft pick makes sense. But when you're not seeing any type of like identity or flow, or like, hey, this is kind of how they play, or these guys do this, it's really tough.
You can get a college, like I was going to say high school, but no, let's just go to college. You could even get a college team to play with an identity, a first year college team. You know, we know how the portal works and players are in and out all the time. You can establish a first year college team with an identity, and that's with discipline on being told what they need to do, and you're not going to play if you don't do that right. And I think for Doug Christie being in his first year as a head coach and having some of the names that he does have on this team with like Russ and DeMar, obviously the other guys that are now out for the season stuff, he has this trust of like playing freely, and for obvious reasons, right? Like they've been in the league for so damn long. Like, of course they would play freely, but that is only 2 players. That is only 2 players of the 5 that are on the floor at the same time. And the other 3 need to have direction, need to have structure. And I'm not saying because they're incapable of playing freely, but they don't have that same experience. And then also DeMar and Russ don't have that same experience even with some of these types of players. That is what ultimately would make these players better. Not putting them in ISO situations, not letting DeMar go in an ISO situation and saying, clean it up, get down there, get an O board, get a second chance opportunity, see what you can do with it. No, what would ultimately like actually help this specific team for the last 25 games is any type of structure on the offensive end. And that's running plays is what I'm really going to.
It's also just playing more modern basketball.
Yep.
The Kings take more mid-range shots than anybody in the league.
Love me a mid-range shot, by the way, but
not when they're not efficient.
Exactly.
And so you're not efficient in the mid-range, but you take a lot of mid-range. You don't take a lot of threes. You don't make a lot of threes. Good luck winning.
Yep.
All right. And the starting lineup right now that they started tonight, Keegan Murray's back. You had Westbrook, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Precious Achiuwa, and Maxime Raynaud. Where do you start here? The spacing is just not there.
Atrocious, yeah.
Spacing's not good offensively, which just makes it hard to operate for everybody, right? Then defensively, starting Russ and DeMar is just problematic. And it's been that way for some time, but Russ is not a good defensive player. And DeMar is not either. DeMar can make some plays, and so can Russ. They have their moments, but these guys have been in the league a long time. We're talking about 18 years in for Russ. They're not good defensive players. So let's put this all together. 2 negative defenders, okay? Negative defenders
of the 5. Yep.
Of your 5. A lack of spacing, stagnant offense.
Yeah.
It's not going to look good, and you're not going to be able to form any type of identity. And so that's why in this game where, believe it or not, the Kings did have a lead. In fact, there was a time in this third quarter, it was a 1-point game at 80-79. A lot of the success that they had tonight was when Malik was out there, right? Devin Carter, Nick, like that group had a little something going. And I'm not saying it was sustainable. And I'm not saying that is the goal of the Sacramento Kings, playing like 3 guards out there with Keegan at the 4 and Max at the 5. I'm not saying that. But what I did see from that group was pace, spacing, ball movement, off-ball movement, and defensively playing some zone. They're flying around a little bit. They had some moments. But we don't see it consistently enough.
At all.
And to your point, We're just talking about offense right now.
That's what I was just about to say. Then go to the defensive end, and what we don't see consistently, what you saw, and even some of the players said this after the game, you're seeing contested shots on the defensive end. You're seeing crashing the boards, not allowing second chance opportunities. You're seeing packing the paint, not just making sure your presence is felt when someone is attacking the paint, whether it's at the rim or in the short range or wherever it may be. And as soon as that first quarter ended, going into that second quarter, there was none of that. It was like they forgot how to contest a shot. And I don't mean to be rude when I say that, but like when you're watching the game and you're seeing the lack of like intensity on a closeout or of wanting of knowing who has the hot hand, who doesn't. Like, I'm just so confused why that was even. You should act like everyone has the hot hand when you're this bad of a team.
Orlando came into this game 27th in the NBA in 3-point percentage, 34%, which is up from last year when they shot a league worst, I think around 31% from three, right? They made the trade for Desmond Bane. They want to really take more threes. They wanted to play a little more up tempo, right? Yep. But like, it's been kind of an up and down year for them. Tonight, the threes that they made, 27 of 51. We had an insane stat from our producer, Vince, tonight on the broadcast. The last 5 games, Orlando is 96 for 200 from three. That's 48%. Mm-hmm. 96 for 2. They've almost made 100 threes against Sacramento in the last 5 meetings.
That's crazy.
That is crazy for a team that's not a good 3-point shooting team. So you're going, well, why does a team that's not a 3-point shooting team hit threes against Sacramento? Because these guys are NBA players. And there was nothing crazy about how Orlando generated this shit tonight. It's not like, hey, man, they just have the ability. They have shooting everywhere, and it's just really hard. No, the Kings can't guard the ball. Mm-hmm. They'd help when they didn't need to help. They'd overhelp and gamble. And then when Magic got off the ball, they were in the paint and sprayed out for 3. The Kings would either have a late contest or no contest. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, these Orlando shooters catch a rhythm, and then they're hitting everything. It was just putrid.
It doesn't make much sense. Like, over the years, even with the whole bunch of different Kings rosters, it always feels like teams have been able to come into Sacramento. Golden One. Yeah. I remember back in the day at Sleep Train, not Arco, but Sleep Train. And it felt like with some of these bad teams, and it just felt like teams are able to just shoot so well from 3-point land against this Kings team.
A lot of bad Kings teams, a lot of bad defenses.
And that's exactly it. When you have no, and it's not even about having like always having the personnel. It's about having like the fire, the want, the dog in you with even 2 players on the defensive end. So then the rest can catch up and really fill in the holes of wherever they need to be, right? It's just embarrassing that over the years, the Kings haven't been able to build that in any way, shape, or form. And I just think that's mostly because of obviously roster construction, but it's also because like that fire or that leadership of just wanting to be that good of a defensive team hasn't been there either. It's like, how can I get mine on the offensive end? That's what it always seems like it's been for quite some time in Sacramento. Yeah. And then you have someone like Keegan Murray, who's a damn good defender. And it's like, can you please be a little bit more selfish on the offensive end and get yours too? You know what I mean? It's just like, you never have that perfect combo of player, of rosters, of teams over the years.
Orlando, 46-27 in the second quarter. They outscored Sacramento 38-29 in the third quarter and held the Kings to 10 points in the fourth quarter. It was 29-10 Orlando in the fourth to go on to win 131-94, a 37-point loss. Maxime Raynaud, after the game, was talking about kind of where things stand, and he was referencing failing right. I mean, failing sucks, but if you're going to be bad, it's what we talk about. It's like when the Kings were on the road on that 6-game road trip where they didn't win a game, obviously. They had that game in Cleveland that was like close and competitive. Oh, this is how you need to play. They had moments on that road trip where like, Hey, they lost the game, but God, we'll take this every single night.
You can have a good defensive possession and
Yes.
the team's it's just like shooting better. Oh my God, they're making everything that night. Yeah, and you're still you're failing the right way. You're doing everything you can.
And right now, this stretch, especially this last 3, has just been gross beyond belief. And you're just not seeing it. And yeah, I saw Frankie Cardicelli put out a tweet today that was mentioning Keegan coming back, and he noted that the lineup of Schroeder, Levine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Sabonis, the projected starting lineup, did not play a minute together this year, which is crazy. And we've acknowledged, like, hey, yeah, the Kings are banged up. Like, yes, we know.
Yep.
With that, and I'm not even suggesting that the Kings need to be like, you need to beat Orlando tonight. It's just this.
It's how they played. Again, it's how they competed. It's how the end of the game happened and you hear the Boo Birds out at Golden One Center. Like, it's all those things. And it's just, it shouldn't be this difficult of a product to watch at times, because then when those exciting moments happen, whether it's with the young guys or they just figure it out a little bit, they have a little stretch where they figure it out and they're still losing games. Like, there's something to cheer for, to smile for, to get excited for. Like, that's all anyone's ever asking for in Sacramento. But then when you have so many games like what we just saw again tonight, yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know where to go with this one.
Well, let's talk about Keegan Murray making his return. He's played before tonight just 19 games and missed the last 20 games. He returns to the starting lineup tonight, 15 points, 8 rebounds, 6 of 13 shooting. He knocked down 3 of 7 from downtown tonight. A couple of the attempts were in and out. His first game back overall, what maybe stood out to you about Keegan?
Well, I did like the threes that he did make. It felt like there was a little bit of a hand in his face or something else. And it was just like smooth. It looked good. So I liked seeing that outside shot. Defensively, it's so fun every single time that we see him like follow someone all the way to the rim and just uses his body, uses his length. You just go, oh, thank God. No matter what happens, you have a good defender. Like a legit, really top defender in this league, in my opinion, like, because he's so versatile, right? He just hasn't been able to show it off too much, but I guess you can talk about the playoff years when he's able to
He had some good defensive plays.
guard anyone from Steph Curry to Nikola Jokic. But yes, I'm just saying tonight when I see those moments, I do just get excited about, like, you need a competent defender on your team and you have that in Keegan Murray. Great. Get happy about that.
I'm very interested to see what these next 25 games look like for him. I mean, he's got to be aggressive. He had one play, I think, in the first half. It was maybe 10 seconds on the shot clock. He was in the corner trying to make a move on Anthony Black, and Black stood his ground, did a great job. Shot clock's winding down. It's at 7. It's at 6. Keegan pulls it back out and looks for DeMar, and DeMar had to create something out of it. And the play stood out to me because it's an example of something I see with some of the Kings' young guys. We've been talking about a lot with Raynaud Clifford this year, and we've talked about it with Keegan over the last few years. Look, I'm not asking these young guys to take bullshit shots, but be aggressive.
Yeah.
Like, don't. Anthony Black stops you once, go back at him. Go attack him. You're 6'8". Get to the free throw line. Take some free throws. But I use this example tonight to Morgan. While we're watching the game tonight at Golden One Center, I feel like some of these young guys look at DeMar as their binky. Mm-hmm. And when that binky's gone, oh, what do you know? It looks like they have to go do something. Yeah. But when that binky's there, they want the binky. And we're not. You don't have to pass it to DeMar. And then people get mad at DeMar for taking a shot. It's like, well, DeMar just got the ball with 5 seconds on the shot clock. He's got to create something. Keegan, in that play, that example, I'm like, just go get it,
But
man.
not only in that example does he need to do the right thing and just, like, get his own, do what he needs to do. He talked about it the other day at practice, saying, oh, now that Fox is gone.
Yeah.
Now that, DeMar, like, has been seen as the guy that's going to get the shot, blah, blah, blah. I need to be that guy. I need to be aggressive. I need to do all the things. you can't have those possessions because then you're just not backing up what you are saying. And again, first game back and everything else, like giving him, but it's a good example of exactly what we want to see in these last 25 games of that. We know what you can do on the defensive end. Elite, amazing, love it. What can you do as an offensive player? I'm not even expecting you to be the guy, but in those moments, late shot clock, can you practice on being the guy? Miss that shot. I don't give a shit.
I don't think anyone looks at Keegan and goes, hey, he can be the guy for the Kings.
Yeah.
I think in a perfect world, he is a guy that can defend multiple positions, which he does.
Yes.
And then consistently hit the three.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And those guys are really valuable as 6'8" in this league.
Yep.
He hasn't shown the consistency from three since his rookie year. This year's been a small sample size. I was encouraged by the fact that he went 3 of 7 from downtown in this game tonight. That's good for him. And a couple of them, like I mentioned, were in and out. But for him, it's just, I want to see the growth in the aggressiveness. And it was just one play, but it stood out to me. Your point, too, it's like, it's going to take him some time to get into rhythm. I thought he actually looked better than I thought. Coming back after being out with that ankle thing, he said he's never had an ankle sprain in his career. And this one was a pretty bad one, apparently. It's kept him out for a long time. But these next 25 games for me are pivotal. Just trying to figure out, all right, who are you, man? Like, do you have a little more than we realize, or do we have it right? Which is like, okay, you're a 3-and-D guy who can pop off for 20, but you're in that like,
you can be an elite defender, do your thing on that end of the floor, but that's like what you are.
Yeah, because the creation's not there from him. Yeah. And I like when they run stuff for him off ball. He gets on the catch, and then he can go hit that fadeaway jumper inside. Even him being a catch and shoot 3-point guy, he's got some creation a little bit, but he doesn't get to the free throw line a lot. And then when he is attacking in transition, it's a lot of straight line stuff, which there's nothing wrong with that, but you're not really seeing him like break down his man, cross somebody over, attacking, exploding to the rim. It's like, oh, I got the ball, I am pushing, and I'm going to lower my shoulder and bulldoze you.
Which, by the way,
I like that.
No problem with that, but I'm so with you where I'm like, it just seems like he has much more of a skill set to be capable of putting the ball on the floor and like turn around jumper baseline, wherever that needs to be. And that's why when he doesn't choose to make those moments, I'm like, okay, is that not in your bag? Is that not, am I expecting more out of you than you actually are? But I think it's just like, it's like we said, well, now we'll see.
Yeah. And so he's going to get the opportunity to go out there and be aggressive. And so I just want to, the biggest thing for me down the stretch is, do you see more of that killer instinct? Do you see him be more efficient from three? If he checks those boxes, like that's a win. Like, and you know, everyone wants to go back to that draft. They picked him 4th overall. Like, yeah, I mean, if you redid the draft, would he go 4th? No, probably not. But it doesn't mean he can't be a good NBA player on a winning team. Sacramento has to figure out a lot of things. Like Keegan Murray is not like an issue for them, in my opinion. No. I don't think the contract's an issue at this point. If he could stay healthy, which he has up until this year, he misses very few games. I want to see him with a competent offense that can play to his strengths a little bit too, more like the offense that we saw year one in the NBA.
It's again, we're in Sacramento. Yeah. Everyone's expecting like, well, if he's the 4th pick in the draft, then shouldn't he be like the number 1 guy on the team? Shouldn't he be the best? Shouldn't he be able to lead this team to a championship? Like it's what we go back to. It's a team sport. You have to build the roster, and everyone in Sacramento always has to play up. Yeah. Always has, and if you get to put him in the right position on this roster, which doesn't seem like that's going to happen anytime soon. Feels like that could be like 3 years from now. Well, then you might not get to see what he is actually capable of on. And then he could go to another team,
that's what I'm
be
saying.
in the right position and fucking kill it.
And that's what could happen.
And
right?
it usually does.
It could get to the point where it's like, all right, well, not really fitting our timeline here, and you move him. Yep. But I still think he's a good NBA player, and
the defense alone is needed on this team.
Yeah,
like 100 billion trillion%. Watch. Yeah, but
overall, I'd say he was solid. First game back.
Sure. I mean, again,
it didn't blow me away, but
no, but he
had a couple of nice plays early on Banchero inside, just great contest at the rim. That I'm used to seeing him. I don't take the defense for granted at all, but I'm used to seeing that.
No, and I guess that's why, like, when I do see that out there, especially when we don't see that out there often with the roster that the Kings do have. It's nice to see back on the floor. I'm excited to see when him and DeAndre Hunter actually get to play together on the floor for a little bit. If that defensively
having
looks
some
good,
size next to Keegan for once. Yeah,
it would be fun.
he hasn't
but we'll
really had
see.
that.
No.
So, what else tonight? Maxime Raynaud, I thought, had some solid moments
Sure.
offensively. He had 17 points, 14 rebounds, 8 of 13 shooting. He also had 4 assists. I was pleasantly surprised by some of the plays he was making as a passer.
Him as a passer, yes, I like that. Him in the 2-man game with Monk. I feel like him in the 2-man game with a lot of different guards over this year has been encouraging to see. Just the fact that he can work with so many different people. Usually him on a slip, he does a good job of catching a nice little pocket pass, like that's low, where sometimes you see bigs not capable of doing that. So yeah, those encouraging moments for Max.
Neat Clifford, after having a rough outing in that game against Utah before the break, had another rough one tonight. He didn't take as many shots. He ends up playing 30 minutes. He had 5 points, 5 turnovers on 1 of 5 shooting.
Some of his turnovers, it's hard to see, but it's like, again, these guys are playing up in positions that they shouldn't necessarily be in. For example, the Kings don't have a point guard yet again. Like, and I say that
beyond Westbrook.
Yeah, old veteran point guard. I mean, if we have to, yes, he's a point guard. He obviously, that is where his role is and everything. It never, he's a chaotic point guard. He also doesn't do a great job of floor managing at this point of his career. So I just don't see the Kings really having a true point guard at this point. So then when you are seeing Devin Carter or Neek Clifford have to be the primary ball handler, and Neek at times it feels like there are defenses that just like see blood and they go and they attack and they're like, you're not ready for this. And then there's moments when he's not. But then there's other moments when he's like confident, strong with it, takes it to the rack, dishes it off, makes the right move. And I'm like, yeah, you can be a playmaker. Like choose to do that. Make your decisions quicker, because you said it, the binky thing, where when DeMar DeRozan's in the game, and it used to be when Zach LaVine was in the game, it just seemed like Neek would depend on them to be the offense rather than like trying to either create for them or allowing them to create for him.
That's fair. And I think defensively, he's got to be better too. There are moments tonight just on ball where it's just not staying attached to your guy at the point of attack. And I don't know if it's an overthinking thing or if he's looking around. I think that just also happens with bad teams. It's like there's no trust, there's no communication consistently defensively. And so guys are looking around. And in this league, I'm sorry, if you fall asleep for a millisecond, you're fucked.
Yep.
And that's what happens. Then it's all of a sudden you're in scramble mode. Someone's got to come over and help. Then you're counting on the team defense to be locked in when this team is the worst team in the NBA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
God, dude. Devin Carter? He is what he is.
Yeah. There are moments. What I love about Devin, I like his energy. I do. I like what he brings, just rebounding, pushing.
Misses his own shot, puts it back up.
He can rebound. But it's the same thing we talk about with him is like, if he's not making shots, it's tough.
Yep.
He had some great looks around the rim tonight. Missed. You can't be missing layups.
Mm-mm.
You know, he's struggling again from 3. He was 0 of 5 from 3. The Kings tonight, 8 of 27 from 3. 8 of 27 from 3 in this game. Orlando, 27 of 51.
27, you guys. And it wasn't like, 27, really difficult 3-point shots.
Dude,
roll the tape.
Even going back to the first quarter when Orlando could not make a shot, they were getting open looks.
Yeah. Yep.
I think Suggs took like 4 threes in the first 3 minutes of the game. A couple of other notes from this game, too. Just shows you the swing. The Kings were leading in that second quarter with that group that we had talked about, right? Carter, Monk, Neek, Keegan, Max playing some substantial minutes at the end of the first into the second quarter. Once Doug put DeRozan, I think Eubanks came back in, and Russ, The Kings were outscored 38-18 the final 9 minutes of that second quarter. In the third quarter, Malik Monk hit a 3 to make it 80-79. Monk had some really nice moments in this game, was knocking down his shot for sure. It cut it to 80-79. Orlando closed on a 22-5 run the final 5 minutes of the third.
Of the third.
Here's another one for you.
Please, because this is
you guys love these
not
numbers.
depressing.
The Kings hit 8 of 27 from 3. Orlando hit 8 threes in the second quarter. They were 8 of 11. The Kings hit 8 of 27 from 3 in the game. Orlando hit 8 of 13 from 3 in the third quarter. That's crazy. Brutal, man.
I just like what I witnessed tonight. I don't think I really processed it while I was there. I was just like, oh my God. You know, you're seeing 3 after 3 made, and you're just like, oh, of course you are. And I wasn't truly processing the numbers of it, right?
Yeah.
And just like how damaging. And even this, a 37-point loss. Like, even when you said that to me right when the game ended, you're like, Morgan, 37 points. I remember like taking that in and being like, well, that sucks. Add it to the losing streak. And now, an hour and whatever later of processing some of these numbers, gross. You said it. Gross.
Yep.
And that feeling is gross, and this feeling is gross, and I don't like it.
We appreciate you guys being with us. If you haven't done it yet, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. Let's get to a couple of super chats real fast, including from Bad News Sour Grapes, saying, depressing times right now, but glad we still got you guys to help us through it. Thank you from all of us.
So sorry. Thank you.
Appreciate the nice message.
That's very sweet.
Dude, I felt like on the way back from the arena, I was just going like, I felt so good the last week. And then I was even excited about the game tonight. And then after, I was just like, oh, this is hard. This is really hard. Ryan in the chat donates $5.
Thanks.
Is this just a very bad hand, or is Doug a bad coach? And Shea Gilgeous-Alexander's second year, OKC went 24-58. What is the difference between Mark then and Doug now? Yeah, I mean, just such a different situation. You know, Mark, his path, everyone's path is different, but Mark Daigneault was coaching in the G League for years. I mean, we're talking 5-6 years with the Oklahoma City
as a
Blue,
head coach
with that organization as the head coach, right?
Just, it's a different thing.
And then Oklahoma City was kind of in this rebuild. I mean, they tore it down, right? They did get SGA, but even SGA wasn't playing late in the year. So the challenge is, when you watch a team that's not good, and it's a really hard thing to do, I think, for everybody, even us, is just like, how do you determine like, hey, what's good and what's not? And I think one of the biggest things for me is an identity.
For a team.
A team, right? Like, are you generating good looks? Is the compete there every night? You know, you could tell the difference to when a team is playing competitive in the right way versus what we're seeing right now, the last few games. It's a staggering difference. The Kings that played in Cleveland and were like sneaky competitive, like, versus the team that played tonight. My goodness. And unfortunately, this year has been more of that. Doug's also gotten a lot of tough situations he's had to try to overcome with all the injuries too, trying to figure it out. It's not easy to deal with. It's a flawed team. But yeah, it's tough. I mean, Mark Daigneault, though, just from an experience standpoint as a coach, is just it's not even close.
Yeah, he, like you said, different path, and like it's like his experience was led up to that, and like Doug thrown into this, and how people handle different challenges, like they're just going to handle differently, and you're just seeing with this challenge, it's definitely a challenge. It's definitely
and learning
challenge.
to be a head coach in the NBA
on the fly.
Yeah,
with the challenge of like, here's my thing too. It's like you said, this team with no identity. It's like you're gonna see some bad basketball, sure. It's not like I'm ever questioning effort, because all these players like want to be out there, like, because a lot of them are the younger guys with these opportunities and they want to be out there. But I also think with Doug and his coaching staff, I would love for them to like almost pivot completely to going, okay, we had this roster and now we have this roster, and we should just overhaul everything that we were doing and go in this direction with play calling, with how we want to play defense, just like different
It's hard
things.
to do this late in the year, 25 games ago, no practice time.
It is so hard to do. But I guess I'm just at the point where it's like what we witnessed tonight in the last couple of games, it's just not okay. So like, how do you figure that out? These are smart players that have been running plays through AAU basketball, high school, maybe a little in college, whatever. Change it up, because it's just not working.
4C Bar donates $10 saying, sometimes when you win, you really lose. And sometimes when you lose, you really win. And sometimes when you win or lose, you actually tie. Gloria White, man can't. That's what Gloria said in White Man Can't Jump. Okay. Thank you for that. That's deep.
That's a good movie.
It's a deep cut.
And thank you.
Dude, I've not
Really
seen that
good.
movie since I was like 7 years old. So like 20 years ago. Gregory, thank you so much for being a member. Appreciate that for 2 months. Mitch donates $5 super chat saying, you can't be a 3-and-D guy in the NBA if you can't make threes and your D is average. Pretty simple. Yeah, I'm not sure who you're referencing there, because if it's Keegan Murray and you're calling him an average defender, then Mitch, we have to sit down and watch some games together.
Let's break down some.
We'll show you how it's
your
done.
threes. Absolutely,
Yeah.
you're absolutely right. You can't be called a 3-and-D guy if you're not making your threes. But
Yeah.
But the defense, I mean, you gotta. Hey, watch other defenders around the league too, and then compare.
Yeah. We got more of the podcast coming up. We got to talk some Darryn Peterson.
Yeah, another kind of depressing thing to talk about.
We'll have some fun at some point.
I mean, I am having fun.
This podcast is always presented by our friends over at Sentivo Vineyards and Winery.
Yes, Sentivo Vineyards and Winery. Drink up. We get to partner with some of the best winemakers in California. And you got to check out their tasting room. It's in Suisun Valley, and it's absolutely stunning. We've both been there, and they just have some of the best wine, reds, whites, no matter what it is. You can go to sentivovineyards.com, get all your bottles there as well.
Appreciate their support of the Deuce and Mo podcast. Also presented by our friends over at Medic Ambulance.
Ambulance. Woo, woo. We've teamed up with Medic Ambulance, the trusted name in emergency medical services across Northern California. From life-saving responses to being the team behind the scenes at your favorite events, Medic is there to serve. Learn more at medicambulance.net.
Appreciate their support of the podcast.
No.
Who's your player of the game tonight?
Anthony Black?
It's a good one. I actually went with Banchero.
Okay.
30
that's fine.
points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, 5 of 7 from 3. Our butcher and barrel player of the game.
God, he's such a big human being, too. I saw him doing the interview after the game with their sideline reporter, and I was just like, and I knew this, but he just grows, and grows. And hey, you should check out Butcher and Barrel. It's across the street from Golden One Center. They have so many new menus coming out as well. Just absolutely delicious food. They have happy hours. But if you are going to a Kings game, they also have a pregame meal that is $38 for Wagyu burger, a shot and a beer. You will need the shot and the beer before you head into Golden One Center to watch some Kings basketball.
That's funny.
Thank you.
Good one, man.
Thanks for laughing.
Well, congratulations, Paolo Banchero. Our J Street Dental moment of the game. Good luck. The moments are the 15 straight losses, a franchise record, and Orlando hit a franchise record 27 threes, surpassing their franchise record of 25 threes that they actually accomplished against the Kings in 2024.
Hey, enriching lives and enhancing smiles. Head to jstreetdentalgroup.com. You can also check out their sister office, Sacramento River Dental. They're amazing. They're what make these smiles. And thank you for the J Street Dental moment of the game jar. But no, we're not picking out one.
I'm going to say this right now. We might retire the moment jar after this year. You know why? I mean, and maybe this is me being emotional right now, but the whole point of this was to write down a moment to like remember the good things, because in life gets so busy sometimes, and you write down a moment, put it in, you take it out and you go, oh, dude, remember this? This is filling up with like tragic moments, game after game.
I have a pivot.
Yeah.
It's not the jar's fault. It's our fault. And where our fault?
I didn't say it was a jar's
No.
fault.
Just hear fart.
Fault.
Funny. Just hear me out. Maybe it's on us after every single game. It's not about finding even a moment of the game that is positive, but a moment of our day that was positive.
Boring.
Okay.
I'm good on that.
So then,
Hey, Kings
break
fans,
the jar.
what's my favorite moment of my day?
No, we would write down the shitty ass game and then put it was fucking sunny outside.
No, I'm against that. Well, here's the good news, Morgan. You want some good news?
Sure.
When you're bad, you get a good pick.
Yes.
This year, as it stands, the
Yes.
Sacramento Kings have the worst record in the NBA. That means they've got the best odds to land the number 1 pick. And at worst, they would finish 5th. Excuse me, they would get the 5th pick.
There we go.
At worst. The talent level in this draft is absurd. And I feel like the more you watch some of these players, we all talk about the top with Darryn Peterson and AJ DeBonsa and Caleb Wilson and Cam Boozer. Who am I missing?
Flemings.
Darryn Peterson.
You said him.
Yeah.
Did I say? What? Yeah. I'm missing.
Are you okay?
Yeah. Go on.
What happened?
I was thinking. Just go on.
Kingston Flemings, Nate Ament.
Oh, there we
There's
go.
so many talented players in this draft, but Darryn Peterson is one that I feel like we're all struggling with right now as basketball fans. So Darryn Peterson goes to Kansas. When he plays, he looks like he is an absolute surefire, I'm going to fucking be a franchise guy dude in the league as a shooting guard.
Yeah.
Good size, can hit at all 3 levels.
Break someone down.
Oh, his playmaking hasn't really shined at Kansas at this point, but has shown it in the past in high school. The problem is
Mm-hmm.
he's dealt with hamstring issues, some cramping. All this stuff's going on, and it seems like there are more times than not he doesn't finish a game. The other night, 23 points, a team high. He made 6 of his 7 made shots were from 3.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did not play the final 17 minutes and 22 seconds of the game. He hit a 3, immediately looked at Bill Self and was like, I'm ready to come out of this game. People are struggling with this right now.
Yeah. And it's absolutely fair that people are struggling with this. 18 minutes played, 18 minutes. And where I don't even give a shit about that. Where I struggle with everything is his head coach basically being out of the loop and not having an understanding of whether or not he is going to play an entire game. 1, that sucks for the coach's game plan, but 2, not having that communication with your coach and then that transparency to everyone else. It's not like we don't need to know all of his business in every single detail. We'd all love to, but we don't. But it's getting weird where it seems like either something's covered up, something's not good about this.
Bill Self had this to say after the game, to your point. We've had this happen more than a couple of times. I didn't anticipate that tonight at all. I thought he was good to go. We only got 18 minutes out of him. That's disappointing because he could have had a really big night. Yeah, that was the first time with Bill Self. You're like, okay. They're not on the same page. Now, last week he was asked about him and asked about kind of the stuff he's dealt with this year. He said, was his hamstring legit? Hell yes. Would he risk injuring it more in November? No. Was his cramping legit? Yes. Positively. It was. Did he turn his ankle bad at Colorado to the point where he couldn't practice for 9 days and then practice 1 day and play BYU? Yes. And that was adrenaline kicking in that BYU game. And then all the things after that, he gets sick. So this narrative is BS in many ways, Bill Self said. Load management, this kid hasn't talked about that one time or anything. Load management, geez, that's when you play 4 games in 7 days. That's not when you play half a week or anything like that. So those rumors aren't true. The narratives, at least some of those ones I saw, are inaccurate. So pretty strong comments he made a week ago.
Yeah.
I think the toughest part right now, not only for people who are watching this and trying to figure out, like, do we want those guys long term or what if you get the
Yeah.
number one pick? But even with teams around the league, and you're reading some of the reports from scouts around the league and people who follow the college game, it's just a lack of transparency. I give Kansas a lot of credit and Darryn Peterson's camp a lot of credit because this shit's not leaking out, whatever's happening. And maybe we're just like overthinking it. But the problem is when you're so secretive about what is happening, it lets people speculate and people have questions about it. That makes it really, really tough.
Yeah. And obviously, speculation is going to happen with this stuff. And it's tough, especially when it is a younger person and it's like something that they're going to see, something that they have to go through. They have to navigate these challenges as well. But when the spotlight is on you like this, as you possibly being the number one pick in the NBA draft coming up, you either got to be transparent with lies or with something, if that makes sense. You know, like you got to just
get your story straight. What's going on?
Exactly. Just give a statement.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, give that statement. And this is what's going on. Even if you're lying to people, just put it out there.
But when you watch him play, even in that game, he had 23 points in like 18 minutes he played in that game. And he's spectacular.
For sure. But it's like we always say, availability is the best ability. And like, if he's doing this shit in college, you have to ask the question, like, you got to go back to track record. And is that going to happen at the next level?
Do you think people would feel better if they were like, hey, here's our plan. This is what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas, Darryn Peterson on the same page. He is on a minute restriction or he's doing this and here's why. Would that make people feel better about things? Or what if they just went like, you know what? He's shutting it down. He's shutting it down. He's been dealing with a myriad of injuries and things going on. It's smart for him. He's going to continue to work out and be ready to meet with teams before the draft. Like, I just don't know what
I think shutting it down. I mean, the reason why I say shutting it down is because, one, in these games, you've now seen what he's capable of as a player. And so his stock is high. You know what I mean? And when I say his stock is high, it's as high as it's going to be even if he keeps playing these games for 18 minutes down the stretch. And he's not even going to play in full games. I just think it's such a weird combo. And so at least if you're just like sitting out, people can speculate, or you and your team can communicate with all these NBA scouts.
When you have a draft like this, though,
I know.
with the amount of talent, we just rattled off all these names.
Mm-hmm.
There's so much talent in this draft. If you're a team that's getting the number one pick and you've got to make that decision, if you're Sacramento,
No.
You can't just say no, though. And I hear you saying
other
that.
great pieces.
And that's where it's going to be tough. And this is why I think Peterson is putting his people, whoever, putting him in a really tough spot.
Yeah.
These teams are going to want to do all the digging. They're going to need all the medical shit.
Yep.
They're going to need every single thing. This is such an important decision for a team. And now you're leaving a lot of things unanswered.
Yep.
For teams at this point. And so I don't know. I'm fascinated by it because it's one of those things when you get a pick that high, you can't swing and miss. I mean, we know that damn well in Sacramento when the Kings have had lottery picks and swing and miss. If you're in a position to get a number one pick, or I was joking with Morgan today, like, what if it gets crazy? Kings like fall to 3, but Peterson's on the board. Like 2 teams pass on him.
So
What, are you going to pass on Darryn Peterson?
And what I say earlier,
I don't
did
know.
my answer change now? Because now I'm like, oh, no, I guess you wouldn't pass. But like at the same time, there's a lot of talent, especially when it comes to top 5. I think Darryn Peterson is like talent-wise my number one pretty much. I mean, AJ for me is my number one. Who am I kidding? AJ DeBonsa is my number one. But, and I think it's more what has made me go in that direction is because of also his attitude. He's composed, the way he carries himself. He's 6'9", basically 6'10", it seems like, can break someone off the dribble, still needs to practice that skill set, but like you see it, it's there. Good teammate. All these different things that you're like, ooh, you fit today's modern day NBA and you have that size. I mean, it's something that we've bitched about in Sacramento for so long. And if you can just find that size right away, and especially when it comes to someone along the perimeter, I feel like you go for it. Darryn Peterson obviously isn't as tall as AJ DeBonsa, but his skill set alone, it's like you said, he's NBA ready to go if he's playing on the fucking floor, though.
Yeah, and look, this could all go away pretty fast if, we get to the point where, during the conference tournament, Darryn Peterson's playing big minutes and he's been awesome. And then they get the March Madness and it's like, oh, yeah, he's just playing. And maybe this is just a stretch that has to happen for him. But because of the lack of transparency, it just leaves so many questions out there for everybody. Kansas fans are all pissed off about it.
Yeah.
They think he doesn't care. And then you got, NBA fans going, who is this guy? I mean, his new nickname, DN Peterson.
Is that
DNP,
it? That's funny,
Yeah,
but not.
It is a funny nickname. It's a great nickname.
But it's so sad.
But
really funny.
When he's out there, like it's so tough for me, Morgan, because of what you just said. It's just his game is nasty.
Nasty.
And
amazing.
You don't want to overthink things, but you can't just dismiss this either at this point.
No.
And, if it's a different draft, maybe we're having a different conversation where it's like, oh, it doesn't matter. You're taking him number one. But because of what you just said, dude, AJ DeBonsa is like, someone was saying today that I think he's closer to like 6'10".
Dude,
I got to be honest, Nate Ament from Tennessee.
I know.
I saw him early in the year and I was like, this guy is way thin. It doesn't look like he's going to be very effective. His last couple of months, you're seeing some of the numbers like, okay, I was watching his last game and I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
This guy looks stronger. He's got great size at 6'10", breaking down his man, plays good defense. We're just talking about two other guys now. And Nate Ament, his stock is like rising at the moment.
I know.
But the Kingston Fleming's out there.
Well, yeah. And that's
Caleb Wilson.
That's the other thing too with someone like Darryn Peterson. It's like no one's saying that he's a bad guy or anything. And like if anything, you're hearing more about like his camp and who's around him that's leading him in this direction or not helping him be transparent and everything. But with that, when you think about someone getting drafted to Sacramento, you cannot take on a bullying type camp. Someone who already comes in and just thinks they're the shit and then has the camp to back them up and will threaten and all those things. Because in Sacramento, it just seems like they can be bullied so much easier. Like you look at someone like SGA, just that pure leadership and like the way he carries himself as a player, as a teammate, as a person and everything else. It's like that is the type of character and person that you want. And I'm not acting like Darryn Peterson isn't that, but the people that are surrounding him right now that are leading him in this direction aren't it. And that does scare me a little bit, especially because of Sacramento being played around with the last couple of years with Rich Paul and everyone else.
Yeah.
It's just, I just can't take on the drama. No more drama.
Well, hopefully it goes away. I hope Darryn Peterson ends up like just balling out down the stretch. And then it's a little bit of an easier conversation to talk about because it just sucks right now when you're watching a guy who's as talented as him and you're like, oh, but he doesn't finish games and he's calling out of this game. And I don't think it's anything malicious on his part. I mean, it literally could be. And this is where it comes down to us speculating, but it's like, if his hamstring is kind of bugging him a little bit, he's probably going, I'm out, or I don't feel right. You don't want to ruin your chance of going to the next level. If you're like, I'm trying to fight through this as much as I can, but there are limits to it. And it seems like you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, right? If he just shuts it down, people are like, oh my God, he just thinks he's number one. And I don't know.
But why does it hurt all the time? I guess that's my thing. Why does it hurt all the time? Like it shouldn't, nothing should hurt you every single time you step on a basketball floor.
I mean, again, I don't know.
I know
what the injury is. I mean, he's dealt with a hamstring injury and those things linger forever.
Absolutely.
Too,
I'm not saying they don't. Not saying they don't.
So it's going to be fascinating. And now the league today, we learned that Adam Silver informed the league's 30 GMs that the NBA plans to make anti-taking rule changes for next season. That's according to ESPN. They have all these ideas that they're throwing out there. Some of them including first-round picks can be protected only top 4 or top 14 plus. So you don't have all these like top 10 protections where teams are like, all right, we're going to protect this top 10, but we're in a position like we don't want to lose our picks or we're going to lose games.
Okay.
Utah Jazz, a good example of that, right? The lottery odds freeze at the trade deadline or at a later date.
Oh.
I don't think that makes much of a change because
Okay.
like, if it got frozen right now, okay, yeah. I mean, the teams that are bad right now are some of them. Maybe teams start tanking earlier at that point, right?
Ooh, okay.
It's like this is not our year. We're start tanking in December.
Oh God. Okay. Dislike that one.
No longer allowing a team to pick top 4 in consecutive years and or after consecutive bottom 3 finishes. I don't like that one, and it's a tough one because like.
Why don't you like that one? I thought that was like one of the more aggressive ones that you would like to see.
I think a team should be able to have top 4 picks back-to-back years.
Okay.
3 years in a row, then we can have a conversation. But it's feasible to think that a team
Is not going to be just be great the next year.
the next
yeah.
year after getting a top 3 pick.
Okay. Coming from a losing
right.
team, yes.
Teams can't pick top 4 the year after making the conference finals. So, like, I guess the Pacers wouldn't qualify for a lottery pick in that rule.
Oh, okay.
Lottery odds may be allocated based on the 2-year records. Lottery extended to include all play-in teams or flatten the odds for all lottery teams. Look, that's a lot of different ideas. Who
Yeah, it
knows
is.
what they're going to figure out? I feel like they have to do something. One of the things I had talked about was how I liked when Silver, at least my initial thought was, I liked the fact that Silver flattened the lottery odds to make it so, hey, it's 14%. If you got the worst record, 14%, second, third, whatever, because it used to be 25%.
Yeah.
But I've been listening to the other people's perspective on this, and it's interesting where it's almost made it worse in a way, right? Because if you're a team that's kind of borderline, you're like, dude, let's just tank in because we're going to have a chance. We're going to have a chance.
Like basically like the Kings right now.
I mean, hell, Dallas. Look at Dallas. Like they not to say they did that last year. They lost in the play-in game, right?
Yeah.
After beating Sacramento, they lose in that play-in game to Memphis. They get the number 1 pick. That's an extreme case here, but we're seeing more teams who are not anywhere close to the best odds of getting a top pick, getting the top pick. It's not the worst teams getting the top picks all the time. So I don't know what the solution is. I'm so sick of it too, because it's like, what else can you really say about it? I just want to get to a point where we're not getting mad at our team for winning games when they're a bad team. That's what I'd like. And so if you want to do some protections that are like, hey, you know what? You can get top 3 or top 4 picks 2 years in a row. But after that, if you don't figure it out by then, fuck off.
Yeah.
You have to deal with it. You're going to finish. You're going to get outside the top 5.
You're an idiot.
Yeah.
And you deserve to be a loser the rest of your life, you stupid idiot.
But it's like, it's tough
that.
too, because, the pathway for some of these small market teams to get a star player is through the draft, a top pick. So they're playing the game as it's currently constructed, which is, hey, if you lose more, you have better odds to get a top pick. I don't know.
There's so much. Since this league has made just like more and more money, which is like great for people and all the different things. It's just been harder and harder to like deal with and have a business model that makes sense for everyone. And I say for everyone because like you're trying to pay these players all this money, but now you have players making so much money. They're making fuck you money. Like they're making money where like they could literally just like
that's
hand
a
me
lot of money.
$1 million today. Me $1 million. Someone please hand me $1 million today, and it would do nothing to them. Nothing. In that like my point to that though really is like thinking about sometimes them and playing the game and having season-ending surgeries and all these different things where you're still going to get paid, but like your team could get screwed in these different aprons and the franchise can get screwed in so many different ways because of that construction. But it could be a small market, and then you have these lottery restrictions, and then like what are you supposed to, there's just so much to it, and there's so much money involved.
Well, the reason it has to be dealt with is because this year, and I don't know if it's just because of how talented this draft class can be, is that we're having these tanking conversations like January and February. Like you can't have a situation where injury reports now, even post All-Star break. Did you see the injury report tonight for Indiana, Washington?
No.
The Pacers didn't play anybody. And Washington did the same shit where, like, I think Johnson played like 20 minutes tonight. Keyshawn George played like 19 minutes tonight. And Washington ended up winning the game 112 to 105. But like they're not even playing their young guys heavy minutes. Alex Sarr still out. It's just a mess. Keyshawn George played 19 minutes. What are we doing? Like, so they're doing that sneaky tank thing. But anyway, you're having these conversations now because these teams have done it earlier than ever.
Yeah.
And the reality is it's not good for business. Like,
no,
season ticket holders who spend a lot of money on the product, or fans who are trying to just take their family to a game and tickets are through the roof and they go to the game like, I'm not even seeing any of the young guys at this point. That's where it just has to stop. To me, it's bad for business.
Absolutely. I mean, it's short game. Yep. It's short game. You're not thinking about and it's something I've said about the league forever, especially since we both cover the WNBA, and it would be so much nicer on everyone's body. It would be so much nicer on everyone's wallets, on everyone's time, mental health, everything if the season was shorter.
To what? What's the number that makes everybody feel good?
I just don't know. I want to say
72.
That's what I was going to say. Like 70. Like, I don't know. 72, 68. I don't know. But the only reason why people say that would never happen because of money. And all I'm thinking is like, you say that, but you're going to lose money in the long run by not fixing what would make the product actually better for everyone, from players to fans to broadcasters to everyone. Someone said 69. Nice.
Someone else in the chat, Good Hair, is saying it's now being talked about more because it affects gambling. Look, if that's the case too, and I know I've read that same stuff, like that's pathetic.
Pathetic.
Because people are getting mad because they're betting on games thinking like, this guy's playing, but he's only playing 19 minutes. It's like, well, that's not, you can't be basing decisions you make about your league on gambling. We've lost the plot if that's the case. It needs to be about, we need to get back to like, what is basketball? It's entertainment. People want to be entertained.
Live entertainment.
Fun, free flowing. Not all this other ancillary shit. Like,
it's never the same.
We need my team to lose because it helps us. Like, that sucks as a fan. That's how I look at it.
Yeah.
With that said, hopefully the Kings get the number one pick.
I sure hope so.
Yeah.
I don't, honestly, I'm cool with top 3. I'll take top 3.
Yeah.
Number 1 just sounds fun. There's a lot of pressure when you get number 1. A lot of pressure.
Let's get to some final thoughts. Kings and Spurs coming up on Saturday, by the way. That game in Austin, Texas. Our chance to see the Kings try to end a 15-game losing streak against the San Antonio Spurs with Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox.
My final thought to that would be, I hope that we are here on Saturday night. Even talking about a loss, I do not care. I do not care if they lose the game. But we are talking after a loss about things that just really stood out to us. And when I say things that stood out to us, you and I have the most fun together when we are talking and analyzing actual basketball being played. And when there's not much to analyze because it's a 37-point loss, It's just not. It's not fun for anyone. It's not fun, and I think that's the other thing too, because it's post All-Star break and it's our like first game and night back doing all this. It was just like a slap in the face. Like, whoa, we're back. This is what it is. This is what we left behind. Here, this is where we're at.
Yeah, I mean, just be competitive. San Antonio is a legit team, and I have so much more respect for Victor Wembanyama. I told you how I feel like he's getting ready for a heel turn a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I probably spoke too soon on that. How he approached the NBA All-Star weekend, All-Star game,
There you go.
love it.
There you go.
This guy,
He's the real deal.
he cares about the league.
Mm-hmm.
He cares about the game. I thought he set the tone. Him and Cade Cunningham, those guys came out and played like,
Yeah.
oh, this game mattered. And the fact that he was hurt by losing one of those games is stuck with me as a fan. I'm like, that guy's a competitor. He wants to win all the time, and he wants to bring a show to the fans because this is what it's about. All-Star Weekend's about the fans and celebrating the game.
Yes.
And he approached the game and made that game watchable. And it wasn't just him, but him setting the tone got everybody on
Ant
board.
said it.
And when Victor's doing it and Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duran's doing it and Tyrese Maxey, some of these young guys are bringing it. The other guys are going to
Anthony Edwards.
They're going to play with a little more fire and competitiveness. Anyway, I've obviously what Victor does on the floor is incredible, and he's still got a long ways to go as a player, but his care for the game stuck with me. So shout out to him.
I love that. And it's always good to be able to like find those things, but celebrate those things too, because it is important that there really are players and people out there that do give a shit and want to always make the game better. You okay?
15 in a row, man.
I admit or tell me this.
Oh God, here we go.
No. Post game show to now, like, did it feels different, right? Like, do you feel like it like settled in differently in this last hour and a half?
How so?
Like reality sunk in.
No, I feel like my reality has been here. This is gonna be a while, and I try to stay present because when you start thinking about
Yeah,
it's gonna be a while,
I get dark.
but
It hurts.
I've said this so many times this year. This is hopefully the low point of this era.
Yes, of this era.
This is the low point,
Yeah.
right? Where it's no identity, bad team, could end up matching the worst record in Sacramento history of 17 wins, right?
Roster doesn't make any
Doesn't make sense. You don't have a young player that you're like, dude, this guy could be a star player. You don't have that.
In anyone. You don't have that in anyone.
So that draft pick, though, that you get,
Yeah.
hopefully
Mm.
it's good lottery luck. That could be the start of it.
Yeah.
And there's so many other things that have to go right. We know this, and like I can already predict messages.
Yeah, but the Kings mess up every pick. Oh, but the Kings do that. Blah, blah, blah.
It's like I get it. All right, I understand. We've been here for all. But I also maybe this is me being naive and me being hopeful, but I am just like it can't be bad forever. It's just not going to be bad forever. And this is the low point, and this hurts probably more than a lot of teams this year. Just because of how quickly it went bad. You know, not to go on this huge tangent here, but when the Kings had that 8-year run from 98 to 06, there's some people ready to start moving on. It was like, okay, cool. And there was some excitement about like, all right, like let's build through the draft.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, there was excitement the first time they were in the lottery for the, first time in years and years. But it's so different this time because they were then bad, missed so many lottery picks. All this stuff happened, had a brief little sample size of success, and then went boom, done. And it's like, oh my God, we're back to those days? That fast?
That fast.
And so
There's nothing like that. Like there's nothing like the what we felt with the Beam Team year, and there's nothing like coming down from that so quickly.
Yep.
So dark, beamless, zero light, digging your way back out of this.
Yeah. So yeah, it's dark right now. It's really dark, but I think this is what it is. Whether it's 15 games or 16 games in a row, or
Yeah.
it turns into 20, it's like, no, this is the low point. This is the low point, and you just hope that this low point creates the change necessary, a good draft pick, tweak whatever you need to tweak, and start moving forward, and hopefully it goes up. But it's not going to go straight up.
No, I mean, that's like with anything in life. That's anything in life. Like even if you're trying to lose weight, it's like you drop those 10 pounds right away or whatever it is. And then like you start to like gain back certain water weight, or you change something in your diet or whatever. And then you go up and down just a little bit here and there. It's like success isn't always going to be linear. It's not always going to go up, but like we're at the low point now. The low point.
Ricardo in the chat says, 10-year-old me in 1989. Quote, they will win a championship eventually. Still waiting, I guess, huh? Still waiting. You know, something we haven't talked enough about. How I'm getting kind of yoked.
You can talk about it.
I didn't know if you had any thoughts.
I have no thoughts.
All right.
Would you like me to talk about you getting yoked because you are planting this narrative and want me to just like go off about it?
No, just thought you'd maybe have an observation.
Well, you told me you're taking creatine.
Okay.
Show the camera.
No,
show the
we
camera
don't
what the
need-
creatine's doing.
All right. We got to
Show
go.
the muscle. Hey, show the muscle.
We love you guys.
Whoa.
We got to go. We'll see you Saturday nights.
Love you guys. Bye.
Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo, Deuce and Mo. They tell you what